Good afternoon, Deb. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Donna?
All right.
Well,
Doing
I'm Debbie Kilsanger.
wonderful.
I'm here with my friend Donna Reed. We're bookkeepers on fire, and it is Thursday, November 21st, 1 week from Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes. I almost forgot about that. Oh, my
Are
goodness.
you cooking Thanksgiving this year?
Oh, no. That has never happened in my world.
I cooked 1 year, and that was the year house before. I mean, I had the whole thing planned, everything. It was great, and it was funny. I had a notebook with spreadsheets with the recipes, walking around Publix, and people were coming. What are you doing? I said, "This is my Thanksgiving spreadsheet." They'd never seen anything like that. Why not? I mean, you got a plan, right? And that morning, he had a heart problem and he wound up in the hospital. So I did
Oh,
all of that cooking,
oh,
and he
no.
didn't even eat it. So I said, "Not doing that again." So
Yeah, well, there's leftovers.
yeah, it was funny. I
That's all
mean,
I got to say. We're going to be at, guess where we're going to be?
I bet you I know.
We're going to be at Disneyland enjoying the day there.
Well, I'll either be at my girlfriend Valerie's house, which I usually go to every year. She has like 40, 50 people there. She cooks for it's a madhouse, but it's wonderful. And I've gone there, I can't tell you how many years in a row. Or we might go to Marco. Hal had surgery on Monday, and he's still recovering. And he wants to be near the doctor. So I'm coming back to Port Orange on Sunday, and then either staying or coming back. By the end of the week, I don't know yet. Just kind of stuff is up in the air, but that's what we're doing. But
All right.
today is our day. We usually have a guest, and we decided it would be kind of fun to be our own guest. So our guest today is Donna. Because one thing I realized about Donna, I call her, she texts me a lot with ideas, and I write back, genius again. She's brilliant. And one of the things that she does really well
Wait,
is,
before we get started, we
yeah,
have some people in the chat who
oh, we
also
have
do spreadsheets for their baking and
so
supplies and big
Teresa,
meals.
Teresa and I are
So
the same vein. I mean, yeah, yeah,
we
and Beth
are,
Ann's good,
yeah.
and of course, I mean,
It's
and
our accountants. You know how we are.
yes, and then of course, when you get the recipe, you can put everything you need in the recipe, and then you can combine it in a pivot table, and you know exactly how much you need to buy.
Yeah,
You know,
there you go. All right. All right. I interrupted your
Yes,
introduction of
well,
me as the
well,
guest. So let's
welcome
go.
back, Ann and Teresa. We're so glad that you're here. So today we're going to talk about Donna is productization of skills. So Donna texted me and she goes, "I have an idea for a topic," and she productization of skills, and I'm like, what's that? So Donna, explain to everyone what that means.
All right. So that means taking the skills that you've acquired over time. So I've been around for a while. So I've acquired many, many skills that can be translated into the business world. This is knowledge you've had and make them into products. And then I sell them. So I call it skills to products to money in the bank because
Skills to
these,
product to money. So give me an example
Mhm.
of a skill that as bookkeepers, accountants that you developed that you turned into a product that you are now selling.
All right. So I have so many of them. So a skill is I know how to run Bill.com very well. I know how
Okay.
to run that software very well, make it work with QuickBooks Online, all the tech behind it, put in all the implementation. I sell that as a product to a business owner to implement their accounts payable or their bill paying system.
Okay, so
All
if a
right.
client calls up and says, "I need a bill pay system," you recommend Bill.com and say, "For X dollars, I can help you. I will educate you on how to use it. Will you implement it for them? What do you have different
Mhm.
price packages that you have for just the Bill.com piece?"
Yep, that's exactly different levels of service for different things that they need. We talk about what they're going to need, and again, I build a scope of work for it, and they get a project price for it. And then
Now I
if
know
they need
Teresa,
maintenance or
who's a guest in
training,
our chat. She's a Dext expert,
same
and
thing.
I know, Teresa, you give it away.
Yes. So this is about not giving
This
away
is
our
about
knowledge,
not giving
experience,
away
and
your brain.
yep.
You know, it's difficult, I find, because back today I had a call from a client that was just got started on QBO, longtime client, set him up, blah blah blah, and she can't figure it out. We were on the phone 2 hours. I go, "You'll get a bill. Oh, thank you for helping me. Don't worry, you'll get a bill." She, like, you're going to charge me? Yes. You know, I'm taught.
Well,
Because I 2 hours on the phone helping her out. Teresa says, "Shush up."
so another thing you can do is okay. We have skills that go beyond just bookkeeping and
Right,
accounting.
right.
I know how to run Slack. I know how to run Slack for larger organizations and small organizations. So, a really big example of this is when COVID hit, people did not know how to go remote. Big companies, little companies, I had so many contracts of just teaching people how to go remote using Slack and using Zoom. I had large contracts. That was most of my business for the first 3 months during COVID,
And these are
was
like
doing that.
educational contracts where you would say, this is what you need to do. Here's the solution. Let me show you how it works.
Right, and helping them actually implement and teach their people, and writing up the different SOPs that they need. Because using Slack, there's a certain etiquette you need to use. They need to determine what etiquette they're going to use in their company to communicate properly,
Great.
and teaching them how to use it, how to implement it across people across the country. They were moving people out of offices so quick because it just shut down.
Now, what would
And
be, give me an example of how much you would charge for something like that. What did you charge?
so yeah, so I charge for a company. One of my companies, I think I charged $15,000, and it was a large company, and they had like a floor of people in a Wells Fargo building in downtown San Francisco. So there was a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
So what did the work include? Like there was like, tell me exactly what you did for $15,000.
So what the work include? First, it had to get everything, the Slack set up for them with all the scope of work that we were going to do, all the people organized. There were teams of people. We had to get them on Zoom calls, which we had to teach some of them how to use Zoom, which I didn't really charge for that because at that point I'm like, all right, let's at this amount I can get them on Zoom. And then we had to start showing them how to use Slack. And while we were doing it, we were kind of building how they were going to use it at the same time we were showing them, because it went from one day they could be in the office to the next day they couldn't be in the office. So I had no time to do
Right,
anything.
right.
So I had to build it as I went,
So how did
which,
you come up with the
yeah,
price of $15,000?
I just threw it out there.
And they said, okay.
They
How
said,
many?
fine.
What
Yeah.
was their sales revenue?
I don't remember at the time. They were in the $1 million range, something
Okay, they
like
weren't
that.
like out of the
Yeah. They
landscape guy.
were they were actually that company was an education program. They were actually doing online education videos, but their entire team was in an office building in San Francisco.
Now,
So they were
Teresa
actually
asked in the
doing
chat.
online. Yep.
Teresa asked in the chat, do you also charge consulting training for certain programs? Would you do the same on how to use QBO?
Oh, I absolutely do it on QBO. I absolutely charge for I call it QBO education.
Right. And you know
That's
why
just
we don't
teaching
call
people.
notice I've been training, not saying training,
Hmm.
because this I learned from Ed Kless and Ron Baker. You know, don't call it training. You don't want your daughter going to high school and get sex training. You
Yes.
want them to get sex education. I thought, well, that's a great, words matter. So, anybody that went to Reframe and talk to, Carlos Garcia, how words matter. So we talk about education. So how do you, when you do an education on QBO, do you do a package, number of hours? How do you do that?
Um, I do a one time. It's 1 hour at a time. It's really a 50-minute hour. It might go over that, but it's 1 hour at a time, and they can pay for it. One
And
hour at a
what do you
time,
charge for that?
and I charge $4.95
An hour.
an hour. So they can come
Great.
on. They can ask questions. They can send in what they need ahead of time, which is why it's a 50-minute hour. Take me 10 minutes to review. Um, and then we can go forward because the education is about teaching them how to use QuickBooks Online for their business. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, so I really don't get stumped that much anymore. because I
Right.
literally do it like 10 times a day.
Right.
Um, so I don't get stumped anymore, but I have to quickly figure out what they need in their business to then turn it around and show them the options that they have in QuickBooks to do it. I don't
Right.
do it for them. I show them how to do it. I
Right.
might do it with them, but I show them how and where to get to where they want to be.
And
So
Teresa
that's
asks, do you
QuickBooks
charge them
education.
even if they're a paying client?
Absolutely. I
Okay,
don't
so
teach
explain that
them.
because so all
Yeah.
right, they've hired you to do their book. I guess Teresa, you're
Hmm.
asking if and tell me if I'm wrong, that if they hired you to do their bookkeeping and now they want you to also educate their staff, would that be an addition?
Absolutely. Yes. They pay me to do their bookkeeping. They don't pay me to teach them how to do it if they want
Right,
to take it over. And that's come
right.
up a lot. And I know that comes up a lot because I see questions all the time on that. I get asked questions all the time on that. Hey,
Does that answer your question, Teresa? Is that what you're asking, even if they're a paying client?
so
Let us know in the
we'll wait
chat.
for her to respond and we'll answer back if we
Yeah.
do that. But yeah, absolutely. Even if they're clients and they want me to show them how to do stuff, they've got to pay for that
She says
because
yes.
that's
So
now
I
education.
guess I'm reading her mind. Yes,
Yeah,
we're
I
Teresa and
thought
I
I
are,
might.
you know,
But yeah, so absolutely, I definitely anything that they want out of my brain that I've spent years accumulating that knowledge and learning things. Even like what we're doing right now, I've had several people ask me, "How did you do this YouTube channel? How do you do it? What are the tools you use behind it?" Like, no problem, I can show you. Click here, click a link here, pay for my time, and I'll show you how to do it. And
now,
I'll show you
so
what I do.
would you recommend then, because what I'm hearing is that you take all of the skills that you have, whether they be in specific apps like Teresa knows Dext, you know
Hmm.
Bill.com, I know Succinct and Excel. Of course, we all know QBO, and you make a list of what you're good at. It might even be taking the data out of QBO and making reports with it, you
Uh-huh.
know, so you can monetize any skill set. You can not just these broad skill sets, but these really
That's
finite
what
skill
that's
set.
what it's about. Take your finite skill sets. You can make a product, and then you can monetize that. So I listed out when I first started this this journey. I listed out all my skill sets, and I broke them down into small. I have many many more now, by the way. But I broke them down to small things. What would someone pay me for this knowledge to help them move forward? And that's how I
So I think
started.
the challenge, or
Yeah.
I just for me hearing this, I don't
Mhm.
know what skill sets I have.
All right. So start with all the software you use.
Okay.
So Money Thumb, we use Money Thumb, right? There's
Yes.
many ways to monetize that. So Money Thumb, you can monetize it by showing someone how to use it. You can monetize it by actually converting the PDFs to QuickBooks Online files or CSV files, or you can monetize it by actually bringing a client on and doing it. That's three ways to monetize
Okay.
Money Thumb, the software, and your knowledge using it.
So Teresa says, I think for the newbie bookkeeping firm, it could cost them your paying client, basically turning a monthly paying client into one and done client. So I don't know what that means. That means
No, I don't think so because I did this from day one. I think that's more of a fear thing. And I don't mind one and done clients, by the way. One and done clients are fine
right.
um, because I can easily move on and find someone else. So, but you don't want to train, you don't want to bring someone one on as a client and then train them how to do your job unless they're going to pay you for that.
Is that what you're
So,
asking, Teresa? You know, yes, it's a fear
the
thing.
fear
Yeah.
thing,
Well,
yes.
okay. Now I think I I operate a lot of time in fear, if you can b- believe that. But I go, okay, if I did it, I'll give you an
Mhm.
example. Today, I finished a sweater. You know, I like to knit. I finished a sweater that I started 6 years ago in pieces. And the reason I haven't finished it is because now I have to put it together because I've been afraid, oh, I'm not going to know how to do it. I won't know how to do it. So I thought, okay, just if you goof it up, it's okay. There, Joe, I said, push through the fear. Now, this was just knitting. And I sat down and I did it. And I remember I got up and I said, look, I did it. So I think we have to do it anyway. Don't be afraid. What Go to the other side. Say, okay, if I failed at this, what would happen to me? What if I did it wrong? What if I didn't like it? I mean, so I think of that kind of stuff all the time to push through the fear to get and I go, "Oh, I did it." And and what I find is a lot of time and I use again I'll use knitting as an example. When I first started knitting, somebody told me that socks were hard. So I never knit socks because they were hard. So one day I think I'm advanced enough to try socks. So I tried it. I go, these aren't hard. Whoever told me they were hard was wrong. So anytime someone tells you it's hard, don't believe it. I remember another time I was in the first grade and we walked to the second grade. And on the board in the second grade, and this is going to date me, the teacher, Mrs. Turner, had written sentences in cursive handwriting. And I remember looking at that cursive and said, I'll never learn cursive. I will never learn. I had just learned how to print. I'll never learn cursive. And we left that second grade classroom, went back to our first grade classroom, and now I graduated to the second grade. I got Mrs. Turner as a teacher, and lo and behold, during the year, I learned cursive. And I
There you
remember
go.
thinking to myself, wow, anytime I think something's hard, just tell myself, Debbie, you learned cursive. So don't let fear stop you. Just say, Debbie learned cursive. You can learn cursive. I'm sure there's something we've all done that we can't believe we actually did it once we've done it. And even if you fail at it, you still learned and you did it. I think the accomplishment is in the doing, not
Look,
in the winning.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Look, I've created many, many businesses. Some are really epic successes that I sold and for very well, and then most were epic failures. Epic
yeah.
failures.
And
And
Beth
then,
Ann, she
and
said,
that's okay because, yeah, they were hard and they were failures, but it's the hard, and this was in a movie, it's the hard that makes it good. And where I
right,
am now, it's all the hard stuff that those years past that made it
right,
so good. And now I can push past the fear even quicker. Like
right,
right now I have a fear that I'm going to deal with on Saturday or Sunday that, like, okay, Tiana's ride at Disneyland open and it has a very large drop at the end. So the wanting to go on the ride and the fear of the drop, this is that's so stupid. But and the fear of the
we all have
drop,
our thing.
I know. And it's not that I've never been on this ride in the many forms that it's taken.
In all
Like
those
what's
years of
gonna
Disney,
like
you've never been on the Splash Mountain
oh
ride?
yeah,
That
I've been on Splash Mountain many, many times.
isn't that the same thing they've just done, Tiana?
Yes, it's the same drop.
Yeah,
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this ride. I'm gonna push past the fear, and I'm gonna get on that ride. And it's like I counted it because I watched it on the stream. It's like 2 second drop, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna push past the fear because I really want to go on the ride because it looks really cool. And
cool.
yeah, so
Well, we're going to
again,
see on
it's
Monday when we
about yeah,
we're
it's
going
about.
live again Monday. We're going to see how you get on that ride
I'm
on
taking my rain poncho and
Yeah.
everything.
And Beth Ann, she says that she charged people how to reconcile credit card with sub accounts, and that's
Yes. Oh my
great.
gosh. Yes.
That's huge. I mean, and that's a micro task. But for
Yep.
clients who don't know how to do it, it's huge. That's great. So I love that you posted that, Beth Ann, because that says even to the minorest, smallest task, we can what you call we can
Productization. Yep.
productization of it. We can
Yeah, I have one just for Bank of America. Just to handle the Bank of America credit cards.
we could do one. I just did one today for a client. I never even thought of it. Is if you can't connect the bank, how do you download the CSV?
Exactly. There's
And
another
upload
one.
that.
I did that the other day I taught someone on Wells Fargo how to do it. And then Wells Fargo was an easy one because they have a nice connection.
Yeah.
So I taught, these were business owners that I taught
And Beth
how
Ann
to
says
do
it was
that.
mostly to other bookkeepers, but the same. Yeah, but everybody's money is green, so who cares?
Yeah. I don't care
You
who
know.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm teaching it to business owners, some bookkeepers, um,
Well,
mostly
the
business
bookkeepers usually
owners.
run into the problem because they need to do it for the business owners.
Yeah, the problem that we have sometimes is the bookkeepers want us to do it for free.
Well, the book.
But the business owners will pay me.
Well, what's unfortunate, and this
Yeah,
is, I think, industry wide, is they think bookkeeping is easy. Now,
yeah.
if you know what you're doing, frankly, to me, it is easy.
Oh yeah,
You know, but for people that don't know what they're doing, it's hard because they don't know, and so we have to stop giving it away. Um, Gret said she got tired of other bookkeepers DMing her and wanting the free help, so I started trying. What do you charge for this, Beth? Beth Ann, what do you
yeah. What are
charge?
you charging? Because I charge too. By the way, I charge too. So
Two
let me see
hundred.
what he's charging. I charge. I think mine is 150.
I just got a DM from a client that wanted to see my how I do my import of my daily sales summary, and I was like, "I'll show you, but I don't want to do it for free." And what should I charge? What? Okay, Don, I'm asking you as my friend, what should I say? Fine, I'm happy to help you. Here's my fee,
Yeah, for that I charged 495.
just 495. Okay, I'll
Yeah. So for
150.
other bookkeepers who need help with a small thing just to learn how to do a new skill for bookkeeping, I charge 150. I figure that's a fair price for someone to tap into the knowledge that I put in to learn those things.
Now, on I know with this particular one, she wants to learn how to do my daily sales summary, and I
Mm-hmm.
have spreadsheets that I use. If
Yeah,
she wanted
that's
a copy of my spreadsheet, what would you say?
a copy of
That
the
needs
spreadsheet.
that's I tell you, I
Yeah.
spent hours, and I'm thinking 5 grand.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I mean, I
I mean,
sell
this
budget
is like
ones.
a template that they can use over and over again.
Yeah.
But the time I spent developing that, now they'll have to tweak it for themselves,
Right,
but
right.
they get the basic.
Yeah.
But if you want me to
Yeah, I've
show you
sold
how to
those
do
for
it, you want to
like
build your own spreadsheet,
500.
happy to
But
do
if
it.
that's very specialized, so 5,000 is a decent price. I've sold budget ones for like 500, I think is what I've sold
Right.
them to
Now,
business
where do
owners
you
to do
show
budgets.
that people can buy this from you?
So currently I don't have it up on my website, but I do have a website that will do products like that. Otherwise, they'll contact me and I'll just send it to them with the
That's a great
product
idea.
link to
Yeah,
buy it.
that's something I should work on. But
But
I
that's something actually we're working on. You don't know it yet, but we're working
we
on
are
on the website. Yeah, for bookkeepers on fire,
right.
it's coming up. All right,
Donna is full of
pre-announcements.
ideas.
Yeah,
She sends me videos all the times of her ideas.
monthly monthly downloads,
Yeah,
downloadable things. That's coming. Don't have a title yet or
we have more
anything.
fun doing this podcast. I will tell
I
you
send
what.
videos to her now of what I'm thinking
Yeah, she
about.
sends videos. She's underneath the monorail at Disney World. I
So it
had
is
an idea,
coming.
and
Yeah.
I had an idea. But are you, Teresa and Beth Ann are both in the chat? Are you getting ideas from this? I mean, is this kind of this kind of gets me excited instead
Yeah,
of like
you just gotta take these skills. I mean, because here's the thing is, I've got $1 million education between schooling and just building businesses and all these things, and all the experience and knowledge. If I can roll them into products that people can understand what it is, solve a problem that they have, and it will shortcut them all the pain that I had to go through to learn all that.
right,
That's something people will pay for. The right people will pay for.
right.
So not everyone appreciates it, but the right people will. And you just,
And and they
yeah,
can
don't give it
probably
away for
search
free.
YouTube
Yeah, they can. They can
on
get
how
all
to
that
do it. That was
information.
it was funny. I was watching again knitting. I wanted to learn how to do a set-in sleeve, and I was watching a YouTube video on a lady that made these beautiful sweaters. And then she goes, "Oh, I'm in Florida," and I'm like, "Oh, she's wonder where in Florida." I looked on her Instagram. She's in Naples. I'm in Margot. Naples is right above me. I thought I'll call her, see if I can find her, and maybe she'll give me a lesson, which I'm willing to pay for. Instead of having to figure it out myself. So I haven't done that yet because I'm a little afraid to do it.
So, okay, so an example of the opposite side is like I wanted to learn how to do my live streaming better. My live streaming with a gimbal, like we did at Intuit Connect, but I'm doing it at Disneyland also. I want to learn how to do that better. So I was watching the live streamers, they're out there doing it. I contacted one and I said, "Hey, you guys do a really good stream. Would you be interested in just sitting down with me for like an hour and showing me everything you do and your equipment and everything? I am willing to pay you. I want to pay you." Okay. And I said, I'll give you like $200. I think That was probably a low ball, but they said, yeah, but then they never scheduled anything. And I kept following up and following up. And they're like, well, this and this. I'm like, I want to give you money and I'll buy your lunch. And
At
I'm like, I just want
Disneyland.
to hand you money, cash, and I'll buy you lunch. They never followed up with me. And I'm like, you know what? I could just go on YouTube. And I went on YouTube and I still do it every day. And I go on YouTube and learn a new skill. This thing that we do now, the live streaming that we do now, it's all assembled from me watching YouTube videos, even as like an hour ago. I figure something out. That's how I'm doing it. So now when people are now asking me, how are you doing it? Well, I watch YouTube videos to figure it out. If you don't want to do that, I can show you. And here's a link to pay me how to show you how to do it
I tell you what,
and
I
what I do.
YouTube is my favorite
Yeah.
channel because I watch anything that interests me. I can find on YouTube. I learned to knit from watching YouTube. In fact, my friend Valerie, who I talk about all the time, she's the one that got me started knitting, and I started knitting, and I saw her like a year later because she lives in Colorado. She goes, "How did it took me 10 years to get?" Where did you learn this? I watch YouTube, and I do
Yeah.
it,
And you
practice it,
got to do it. You actually have to do the stuff, and then you
you
got
have
to
to do it.
practice.
You got to
You have to
practice.
keep
Yep,
moving. So
yep.
those people that we do, that I do QuickBooks education with, and then come back to me 6 months later with a mess. Well, it's because they didn't do the things I told them to do,
No.
like do it every day.
And they're never going
Um,
to do it as well as we do. So let them do it themselves. And then they come
yeah,
back. That lady today
fine.
that I talked to, that was a year ago. I did it a year ago. Let me show you how. You think she's not done anything for a year.
Yeah, I
And,
talk to those people every day.
yeah.
So Beth Ann says she just met someone on Facebook that does sourdough bread lessons. I mean, you can, yeah. So she's thinking about taking our class. You can do anything. Look, you have so much, everyone out there has so much knowledge in their brains. Someone is always willing to pay you for that knowledge to shortcut it. I don't
Right.
care. And I learned that lesson a long time ago from someone. I can't remember who it was, but this is how I ended up doing these product things. Is because there's always something in your brain. And I think this is how I started my business. There's something in my brain that people are willing to pay me for. I just have to then organize it and put it into a sellable product. Because
Great.
that's the key to everything. Going back to everything, if you're in business, you have to sell and you have to
Yes.
give them you have to deliver and give them the result that they want. So you have to be able to sell, and that's
Yeah.
where it comes back. Build a product you can sell.
Nothing happens unless something is sold.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, that's great, Donna. I hope you guys had some ideas. And what I'd like to know is put in the chat or write to us and say, "What? Here's some ideas I have that I'm going to productize my ideas, and we want to see how you do." Because we're all here cheering each other on, which I think is great. Which is why we're bookkeepers on fire.
So yeah, so you can put it if you're in the Facebook group, you can put it there. You can put it in the comments on our videos. There also reach out to us. Both of the people who are in the chat right now know how to reach out to us. So you can reach out to us, and then we'd
Yeah,
love to hear. Put it in the
subscribe, and
comments,
join.
and make sure you don't forget to like the stream that we're on right now. Share it with your friends. Subscribe. Share it with their. And make sure they subscribe too. We're trying to really get up to our next goal is 300. Where our
Yep, we
stretch
have to
is
do 200
1,000.
this week. Woohoo!
I also put in a few links in the chat too for we have exclusive partnerships we're developing and all kinds of links to different things that we use. I'm updating those daily as I can. I've got a link to my weekly recap emails that go out that recap what we've done last week. We put out on the average 4 to 5 pieces of content a week on Bookkeepers on Fire.
Right.
So I recap that and then I put in some stuff that we've done before, like our very, very popular one that we did Upside Down with Ted Callahan. Uh, that is actually our most popular video right
To
now
do it
out
right.
there.
I taught a class yesterday at Wood. The Woodard did an encore SNH, and I taught my class on storytelling. And one of my slides was, "Be willing to do it wrong to get it right."
Yes.
And we did
So
that wrong. I mean, but it worked.
it worked.
All right, well, let's wrap it
So,
up for today. We're at the 30-minute mark. We want to thank Teresa and Beth for joining us. And Donna, I'll see you on Monday.
all right. Yes, we will be back on Monday. Not sure about next week after Monday
Yeah,
what will
happy
be going
Thanksgiving
on.
if we don't see you.
Yeah. All
All
right,
right.
guys. You guys
Good
have a
night.
great
Bye-bye.
weekend.